we'd like to sincerely thank our Patreon supporters.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My mom and I are here. She's over there loving on Pete. We are looking at these holes that I've dug in my property where the irrigation lines used to run for the tree farm that was on this property. And what we need to do, I'm trying to find the end of a line. I think this one's got an end. Nope. One of them does. Maybe the last one? One of them had a 90 on it. Technical difficulties. Oh well, not important. That one has an elbow? The one I walked past first. So, what we need to do, there we go. Showing they got 1-inch PVC pipe that ran all this irrigation. And there's a fitting on there. So if we can get a reducer 1-inch to 3/4 and then get these fittings, we can go straight onto this pipe and then go to a soft irrigation line. And by doing that, instead of PVC pipe, we can crimp on these irrigation lines, go about 18 inches down and just dig a trench and get zone 1. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't explain that part. There's 4 separate zones that all run off of a timer by the irrigation system. And that is zone 1. It did 3 rows. Zone 2 did 3 rows. 3 and 4 both did 4 rows because my property tapers down in a triangle, so those rows were shorter, so they were able to do more fittings on that. So we can reduce it and do these irrigation lines. And I think if we could just get it to the corner of the enclosures, we could fill all these massive holes on the property and we can get closer to cross fencing the property. Remember, we can't do chickens in free range until we cross fence and secure this back triangle of the property. So we're working towards that goal. So if we can get the lines to here, that would be great. And then the next step would be zone 1 to tie in, go above the cage in an even smaller line and turn it to low pressure. Oh, I think convert it to low pressure with the shutoff valve right here on this wall. So a pressure reducer, a shutoff valve, and then we can go to like a 1/2-inch line, and then we can do soft drip lines. And so say like this whitethroat's water, I could have a soft line hanging down 16 inches or something, and that would turn on for so many minutes a day and overflow its water, and that would help purge off mosquito larvae. So like this animal's not pooping in its water, but you can actually see there's something living in there. Some sort of a worm has those little like casings or whatever. Happens quickly, but by moving that water every day will help hold that off and maybe buy me a little bit more time between cleanings. Plus, the sound of rain, the sound of moving water excites the animals, makes them more active, makes them more curious, it make them happier. So if we could do that, we could do zone 1 for rows 1 and 2, zone 2 do rows 3 and 4, and just give the animals a little something. And then zones 3 and 4 will go to the chickens, turkeys, quail, all that stuff, and overflow their waters as well and help keep them cleaner. So what we wanted to do, come on, Mom. You're part of this.
Okay, I was gonna clean the boards.
She's ready to work on to the next step. She doesn't want to do the filming. Actually, who does? I had a massive pile here that I was having to cut the grass around, and it was all the irrigation lines from the old homeowners for their tree farm. But we thought we could straighten this out and reuse it, but what we're looking at is that all the drip system lines are penetrating all this, that we don't have straight lengths of pipe, and the way, because it was part of the closing that they would take this apart, and they didn't coil it up. The way it's stored, I don't trust that this is gonna, I'm sure we can get it back round, but I don't trust that that pinch is not a weak point. And then I'm gonna do all this work and bury it, and then I'm gonna have all these leaks that pop up under the ground. And then I have to dig up all these holes to try and do this. So as much as I like to reuse materials and not waste stuff, I think this all needs to go to the curb, unfortunately. So I know my mom's still looking at a way to save it, but I don't see it. Even if you save it, Mom, there's still a hole 3 feet from there. So I think we're gonna have to get new irrigation line. We don't have to get a lot to get it to the corner, but if I can just get rid of all those holes, I've dug them. And when the dogs go crazy and are running around the yard, we're actually afraid, because they don't pay attention. They're just looking at each other when they're running around, that they're gonna go straight into one of those holes full speed ahead. So we're gonna get started, or I think we're gonna find the materials and then show you in case we change anything, because that can always happen. Looking at an ant on my arm while we're filming. So we'll get the materials and update you on what the next step is. All right, guys. We went to Home Depot and we got our supplies yesterday, and of course we made a change. My mom said that she'd rather deal with PVC pipe than that flex pipe and those clamps, which she's not used to. But I'm doing it today. She's not here. So, but we already purchased a PVC pipe. I thought it would have been easier to clamp it and roll out a section, and because it's somewhat flexible, it has a little give, but PVC pipe has give. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to that 1-inch pipe and slide this adapter into it, which is going to adapt it to 3/4, a little stub of 3/4, and well, that's actually the wrong fitting, but just pretend this is a regular 3/4 elbow. And we're gonna grab this and come over at an angle, and from that angle we're gonna take a straight shot. I'm gonna dig 16 inches down, straight shot to where we need to go, because this is a little close. You can see where my truck drives in, and my truck has a tire right about here, and it has a tire right about here. So we want, remember when we cross fence this property, I'm gonna have to put a big post and get a 12-foot gate in here to drive my trailer. I want to store my trailer in the back corner of the property. So I want to be able to turn around and back my trailer in a little covered area back there. That way all the rest of the property will look great, and I think at some point we're gonna have to get a flat trailer to get rock and dirt and stuff like that and not be at the mercy of someone else. But that gets this plumbing a little bit further away from where the tire track will be and the pressure of the tire, because I don't want to go that deep. I only need to be 16. I'm not going to put any plants in this area. I mean, maybe we could put a mulberry or something like that here, but nothing that we're going to worry about digging and hitting that. Maybe something small in the middle of there, but we're going to know where our plumbing is, and we're not going to put maybe some bushier plants, but nothing big. And 16 is actually standard for irrigation, but we do have one high pressure water line that's going in there. So we're going to go ahead and start digging that out, and if I get tired of digging, then I'll start doing the fittings and get one done. We're gonna have to get that dang wasp out of there before I start. I don't know why he's obsessed with that hole. I don't know if you guys know, but I have a mild allergy to wasps and bees and some ants. Can't stand them. Yeah, what am I gonna explain the same stuff again? I just need to get digging. All right, I'm gonna get started. All right, I have it dug from the first hole only to the second hole right now. And yeah, I'm ready to glue. You know what? Since I've been driving over this with the truck and the tractor constantly, that dirt is compacted. It did get a little easier to dig actually over here, because I think I'm riding over it more over there. But so I need to cut that one pipe loosely out of the way, and what's going to happen is, because that's the lowest point right now, the water level is probably up to here, and that it's probably going to drain a whole bunch of water in that hole, which I may have to pump out. And I do have a dirty water pump to get that out of there so I can get it dry and glue a fitting on there. But first step would be to cut a section over there and then cut a section over here and let it do its thing. And I suppose come over to this hole and do the same for this pipe, only this one doesn't have to go at an angle. It's going to come straight up, and we're just going to continue with a straight shot heading over that way. So we just need to cut that one off, give myself a little room to work, and come straight up to that 16-inch mark with an elbow, and then that one will start going that way. But I have my pipe laid out, so hopefully it'll be quicker once we start gluing and filling in. All right, guys, so we have zone 1 coming up at that angle, 16 inches down, running. That hole is already starting to get filled in, a joint to another pipe, and then that's where zone 2 is starting, and it's coming up. Obviously we're going to trim it at 16 inches below ground level, but I'm laying this pipe down here so I can with the bigger shovel I can walk around and break the grass like 6 inches on either side of that first, throw that up there, and then go with the skinny shovel to get the trough to the depth I want. So I hit it with the big shovel first, and then the skinny shovel to get that trough to the right depth. So now we're gonna have to shoot that trough all the way to over here. And of course, like anything you do in construction, with plumbing or electrical, there's always something you forget. And I forgot the 1-inch pieces that go, let's see, a 1-inch coupling. Like this is a 3/4 coupling. This 1-inch coupling is what we need to help. This reducer goes inside that with a little stub, and then the 90 up, and that's how we're reducing it to 3/4, and then it's shooting up to 16 inches below the surface of the grass. So I forgot to buy those. I ended up having 3, so that really can get us to that back hole, but no further today. So that means if we can dig and fill all this back in today, that means tonight or this afternoon I'll run in town, get some dinner, maybe a cold beer, and get those couplings, and then tomorrow morning we will attack this. And I think I said before, it's a little strange that we still have 4 pipes running back there. I don't know what they do. All the zones have already been hit. This is technically the end of that zone. So this, we know this isn't being used. I know that one of those 4 pipes is the high pressure water line, and one of those pipes is zone 4. And zone 4 started over here, but there was no need to attack it here and backtrack when it's right there. So I'm gonna have to again use our pump. Oh, did I even show you this? So this pump I could set into that hole and pump the water out of that hole, which I'm gonna have to do on this one anyway. I'm gonna dig it a little more, and then I'm gonna use that to pump all the water out, and because I've got to have that fitting dry to be able to attach to it. And of course it's the lowest pipe in that hole. Why wouldn't it be? So Yeah, see, one of those 4 pipes doesn't even do anything. It's cut off right here. Actually, it's capped there and capped there. Who knows what they did? You know, there might even be a hose spigot in the back corner of this property that we haven't found yet. Maybe I'm gonna go look over there really well. It wouldn't surprise me if they had another one. So maybe I'm gonna walk into this back corner and just make sure they don't have a hose spigot hidden somewhere. All right, so I said something about using the pump. It's just a basic water pump that turns on via these little prongs. When they feel like they contact water, then it kicks itself on. So when you set it down in that little muddy hole, I've already evacuated it once. Then when I cut the pipe, obviously more water flowed in there. So we're gonna set it in there. I've got the hose over towards the swale. This pump doesn't like mud. There are ones, so it's kicking on. All right, it's got good suction now. It's getting it all out. Now the water's about 3 inches below that PVC pipe. I had hand dug a little hole right there. As soon as the water is off of those contacts, it shuts off. So that's how you get the water out of the hole. I already went to this other hole and got the water out of it enough. But again, we can't finish this one today because I've got to get those fittings. But I think we can, if I really hustle, get this last one connected and dig to there. And maybe we can time lapse backfilling everything, which could be exciting, to finally not have to cut around all those pipes sticking up in my yard. All right, guys, as I showed you before, this is how we start off. Now, if you notice, there's a meander right there, but the first hole, remember, we wanted it to jog over, but I still wanted it to meet the second hole. From the second hole, we're pretty straight as we go the rest of the way down. So, and I don't know if you guys notice this, but I actually number my couplings. 1 and 2 is numbered on them, and as pipe 3 enters the mix, when they're all together, they're all numbered. If I ever dug this up and I'm trying to figure out which zone is what, one of them's leaking, or I got some sort of an issue, every time I hit an area where there's couplings, all 4 of them will be labeled. Not that, I mean, you'd still have to dig 10 feet between those numbers, but I mean, we just dug 50 feet in an afternoon. I think it's less than 4 hours that it's taken me to do all this. I mean, working pretty hard at it. So zone 3 has made it all the way to the corner. So tomorrow morning, when I have those additional fittings, then we'll attack going this way. We're gonna bring them to 12 inches off the surface, so a little closer. And if you notice, this is not a 90 degree. 90 degree would go into that enclosure. So our hole is gonna have to allow these pipes, I'm probably gonna grab them like over on this end more, and it's gonna curve in. The PVC pipe will allow that, and then stay about 12 inches off the enclosure. And then, well, actually, I need to correct that. I think, well, yeah, all 4 zones can come over to here, and then I'm probably gonna stop them just past this spot. They're gonna be in the ground, and we're gonna have to dig them back up, and we're gonna leave them there until we're ready to shoot zone 1 over to a pressure reducer into the lines for the drip systems. But the high pressure line will continue over here, come over, go over this pipe. Well, I don't need to over explain it. You guys are going to see it tomorrow morning. So I'm gonna get the fittings. Well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna put you on time lapse and I'm gonna fill in everything I can so I don't have to look at all that tomorrow. Maybe just from here over. Otherwise it'll be overwhelming what I have to fill in. That's it for today, guys. I only got about 35 feet done, but the Florida State bird is already out. In case you didn't know, that's a mosquito, and they're chewing already. So I'm gonna call it quits tonight and just get started early tomorrow morning. All right, guys, I'm back at it the next morning. I've already been doing quite a bit of digging. I did fill in a little bit more, but our junctions right there, looks like a raccoon was playing in the dirt last night and has footprints all over our pipe and dirt on it and everything. Great, we'll clean that off. But I figured out which one was the high pressure line. And of course, as soon as I cut into it, it gave me a shower, so I'm soaking wet. And now I've dug the 12-inch deep trench, because it's tucked right up against the enclosure, all the way past the doorway. Now you can see where our water lines go in for, there's an elbow there shooting in and a T right there shooting in for the 2 rows. And this is where we want our 3/4 to pop up, go over this and intersect into this. So that'll feed that, and it has its shut off for repairs. And then I want that 3/4 line to run up along the enclosure, and we're gonna have to cap it off at the end here because obviously we don't have our other wall yet. Now the irrigation lines, just getting them over here was the main goal. I wouldn't mind getting the one that we're gonna do first, zone 1, right here. If we could get it here and even popped up right here, that would be great. We'll see what happens. I think we have enough pipe to do that. And I mean, I guess ideally I would like to get them all at least that far or even that far, because whatever we can fill back in at the end of the day today, we're gonna have to do a separate video for doing the irrigation above the enclosures. Yeah, I showed a picture real quick on Instagram and Facebook, but I'm sure he's not going to give us a good shot. We had just finished the video doing the enclosures in row 1 and finishing row 1. The female sulfur is still above her doorway, so it wasn't cold last night, so there's no issue in that. But we do need to train her to go to her hide box. But something that I always talk about in videos, and I mentioned that on the post, the other female sulfur is actually in that transfer box. She has not crawled out yet. The door is open for her to walk out. But the male bivitatus, who is a sharp looking lizard, you guys can't really see. I don't want to go in there and scare him. He's definitely not happy with me, but he is out, which is a plus, so I don't want to ruin that. Otherwise I would go in for a closer shot. But he almost looks, he's so banded, he looks like Mike Stefani's banded sulfurs. Obviously not as pretty, because he is not a full sulfur or anything like that, but he's a real pretty bivitatus, and that's why I've been holding on to him. Just beautiful yellow bands. In fact, looks like he's about to go into a shed, so we're gonna see his real colors real soon. All right, so the thing is to figure out, we have 3 more pipes down there. One of those 3 pipes is zone 4. And that means, I don't know if you guys could see where my black trailer is, way over there. my irrigation pump is in that little tiny hut over there. So I have to go over there, turn on zone 1, which is going to give me full pressure to probably zone 1. Well, you know what? I could cycle through 1, 2, 3, and then get to 4. I could do that. But then I have to run over here, see which one is dumping water for zone 4. It would be easy if I had someone else here, but I don't, and I need to wrap up this video before lunchtime today. So, oh shoot, sooner than that, because I have to feed some animals this morning. So I really need to wrap up this video. I need to get this sucker done. So I'm gonna have to run or jump on the golf cart full speed, run over there, full speed back, and before I flood and wash everything out, because that's what it's gonna do. 60 PSI, just wash everything out. All right, so I'd love to film it, but it'd be a lot of dead space in between the action, and I don't need you guys making fun of me. All right, so I stopped where I was at for a moment and decided to finish my high pressure water line. So I ran it ahead, and like I said, tied it in. Now the hallway is tied in with the shutoff. I ran it above ground. I have a hose bib for the cleaning table, and then it carries on, and it's just capped off here for now. I think for now I'm gonna have to hook the long hose to that, but I will probably have another hose bib over there for a long hose for any work that I do out here. I suppose you can't have enough hose bibs and hoses when you've got animals. God knows what you're gonna have to rinse off. But the cleaning table doesn't need a long hose at all, like a little 8-footer or something like that, and that's it. And I went into the hallway, and we had skipped over this when we did the hallway plumbing. We just had the shutoff valve. So now we have a hose bib in the hallway, and that will get one of those, I don't know how to other describe it. It's like one of those shrinking hoses. When it doesn't have water pressure, it kind of shrinks into almost nothing, and it can literally hang on itself right there. But it will give me 50 feet, which is twice the length I need in either direction. Then I can clean the water bins with some high pressure and then fill them up with these valves here. So now I'm gonna go ahead and I think pressurize that and then figure out which zone. I don't know if you guys could see, but that's the young female sulfur. Yeah, I could see from the film that you guys can't hardly see it. But she's finally come out of her little hide box. She's beautiful. She's very, very light. She's gonna be a stunning animal. Again, she's settling into her new enclosure, and I don't wanna stress her out. But we're gonna have to figure out which one of these pipes is zone 4 next. So that'll be our next little hurdle. All right, well, that was beyond exciting. I probably should have filmed it, because the first zone we turned on, of course, the water is spraying everywhere, and I ran over there. You've got to, on the timer box, you switch it to off and then back to on, then it will switch to the next zone. Then I went to get in the golf cart, and the stinking thing wouldn't start. I've been leaving the switch on while I was working so I could rush back, and it just killed the battery. And I had to run, run over here, see which zone was on, run back, and after doing that twice, I ran on the porch, got on the Asomtom electric bike, and did that for the last zone, and I came back around to the beginning again just to make sure that there was no way these other pipes are active. But I do know, and our pump's doing its job, it's getting all the water out of the hole. This was pretty full from getting full pressure on all those zones. And you can see our trough is all full of water. It was full throttle. Well, yeah, I'm out of breath from running. I know which one is zone 4, so I can get it tied in, and we'll go ahead and I I think we're not gonna have enough pipe. I think we're just gonna have enough pipe to stub up zone 1 where we want it, and the rest are probably gonna have to terminate right here, if I can even get zone 4 to there. I don't even think I can get zone 4 to there. So I think at most we're gonna be able to fill to right here, and we're gonna have to leave all that exposed until we get some more pipe. And that's just gonna have to be on another video. But let me go ahead and get as far as I can. All right, guys, that's as much as I'm filling in. You don't realize how big those holes were that I had to dig to, again, nothing shows up on that GoPro. That was a lot of dirt to move. And really, on the second day of just straight digging, I'm exhausted. So I've got everything labeled. These are not glued on, but they're there to stop the sand from going into my pipe, so I can do a butt connector and continue those pipes on to the end of row 2 past the cleaning table area. That way I'm able to put that area together, and hopefully when we get a load of white rock that area. Everybody's out getting sun. Sulfur female, that Bivitatis male looking nervous at me. The other guru female was out. I don't know where she went to, but it's a nice hot sunny day, and they're all out doing their thing. I'm gonna call it. I've got to feed the animals and then go meet up with Tom to give him some film so you guys could see these videos. But plenty more to come. We got to start on that rock monitor row, and oh gosh, I can't even think of their name. The Argus monitors. Yes, we need to get those 3 enclosures done for them. So those are the next ones to knock out. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Until next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. See you soon.